So real quick, there's a ton of videos on YouTube about this, and I decided to give it a go, and it actually works. I was one of those that unfortunately lost my key for my lock nuts. I go on my wheels, and it's this star pattern key, and it's for a 2012 Kia Optima. Unfortunately, if you go to the dealership, they're selling this for like $55 because it's a set. What they do is they sell you the lug nuts and they sell you the key. They don't just sell you the key itself. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to end up taking these off, and honestly, I'm not really too worried about anybody stealing my rims on my car. I guess because I'm not in that much of a bad area or whatnot. So I'm just going to put on some regular lug nuts. These are the factory ones that go on the car. So I'm going to take the lock ones off, and I'm going to use my regular stock one. This is the socket that I'm using for my particular setup. It's 19 metric. Let me turn it this way. Yeah, you see, 19 millimeters, 19 metric, and it is the multi-point one that's got like 12 points. Because what happens is, and you can kind of see the indentations at the very edge. You see where it has these little cuts, and that's where the socket grips onto. You can kind of see it better there. And it's worked. I mean, I've already taken out 3 with one socket. I mean, it doesn't look that beat up. It's a Craftsman anyway, so I know they have lifetime warranty, so if it breaks, you know, just get it replaced. But it might end up wearing out the walls on the inside, but I'm not sure. But I don't really use these wrench or the sockets, because I have a different brand that I use. So these are just kind of like my backups, I guess, to my main sockets, or my main tools that I use. So I wasn't too worried about damaging it or breaking it or whatever. So I've taken off 3. I'm going to show you how I'm going to take off the 4th one. And all I'm using is this little 4-pound hammer. Bought this at Harbor Freight. They're real super cheap at Harbor Freight. So I'm using this to hammer on the socket onto the lug nut, and then basically just using my 3/4 inch ratchet to take it off here. Let me show you. Okay, so I already kind of started on it, and all I'm doing is making sure that it goes in well. There, that should be more than enough, hopefully. And then all I do is step on it. It should come off. That's it. That's all it is. Now the other big issue you run across is taking this off. So let me show you how I do that. So here's my setup. It's nothing fancy or anything. Of course, if you have vice grips, the big vice grips things, it would be so much easier, because all you do is you put this in the vice grips, in the jaws, and you just hammer at it. The only thing is, you have to get, obviously, something in there. You can either use a screwdriver. I'm using this old brake caliper bolt that I had from one of my old vehicles. I can't remember what it was from. But you can see it's already, I mean, I wasn't planning on using this, but it's already all, beat up. This is basically what I'm using to go in here. And I'm just using a regular old hammer to hammer it out. Of course, you want to be careful, so you might want to hold it with some vice grips or some channel locks, just to hold it, because the last thing you want to do is be holding this, and then you end up hammering your hand. then you're really gonna have problems. So you're better off using some channel locks or vice grips just to hold this steady, and then, you know, hammer this on. And that's all it is. That's how I took off the other three. It's just due diligence, making sure you keep at it. Because what you really need is something to hold. Since I don't have vice grips, I'm using this to hold, to bridge it in between these two, and that way the bolt just shoots out whenever this thing goes through. So that was it. See, that's all I did is use the vice grips to hold this in place here, and then use these channel locks to hold the bolt down in there, and then just with the hammer it. That way you don't have to worry about hitting any fingers or damaging any fingers. And this this thing pops right off, so you can see the indentations there on the sides, the little the vertical lines there. That's where these where the socket was holding on to it. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully that helps you guys. This is on a 2012 Kia Optima. It's a 19 metric with the lock nuts. In case you lose your key, you at least can get off the locks using a regular old socket, the 12-point socket, and at least until you get either new lock nut set, or like me, if you're not even going to use these anymore, just go back to regular lug nuts. You can do that. So hopefully that helps someone. Thanks.